Welcome to Health, Wellbeing and Lifestyle, where experts in the field inform, educate and inspire the community to be healthier, more balanced and live the lifestyle they love. Our first guest today, Michèle Wolff, is a naturopath, author and lecturer, and the topic we'll be discussing is how toxins in our environment can affect our digestive health. Welcome, Michèle.
Hi, Megan.
How do toxins in our environment affect our digestive health?
Yeah, good question. Well, nowadays we've got over 84,000 registered chemicals that weren't there over 100 years ago. So we're having to deal and adapt to that as human beings. And in particular, it puts a big strain on the liver because the liver is constantly detoxing what we put on our skin, what we breathe in, toxins that we produce in our body from our own digestion or from stress. So you've got all sorts of environmental toxins. You've got toxins that are in food, toxins that are in the home that are off-gassing from paints, from furniture, toxins in clothes unless they're organic cotton, and toxins that are on foods, particularly if they're wrapped in plastics. Also, there's toxins in different sprays that we use, like cockroach sprays and fly sprays. And we have to deal with all of that. So with food wrapped in plastic, the softer the plastic, the more toxic it is. So something like Glad wrap would be more toxic than a hard plastic. And when it's warm or heated, then that becomes more toxic. So if you've got a water bottle in a plastic container on your front seat and it's a 35-degree day, then the phthalates from that plastic will go into the water and that disrupts the hormonal system. The liver has to try and detox that, and that puts pressure on the digestion. In food, we used to have a whole food diet without food additives and preservatives and so on, and now the food industry has developed food that lasts a long time, that never goes off on the food shelves. Well, that has an impact on the system as well, because it's foreign to the body and the liver has to detox that. And then the everyday things we do in our lifestyle, from getting up in the morning to going to bed, we can use a whole range of toxic products in the home. So makeup, deodorant, toothpaste, hairsprays, and cleaning products. So what you've got under your kitchen sink or in your bathroom cabinet is not necessarily healthy. When you buy new furniture or you use commercial paint, that's often off-gassing for a period of time and we're breathing that in. When you get a new car, I've recently got a new car, and in order to help get rid of the toxins, had to heat the car up and use carbon filters in the car. So, you know, unfortunately, a lot of things are not made with natural fibres. We don't have a lot of natural wood products now for furniture, and clothing isn't natural, and where we live we're breathing it in. In the home there can sometimes be things like mould that can really affect people. So once you've got mould in the home and it's visible, there are a whole lot of spores in the air that you're actually breathing in that's very harmful to the health. So that can be harmful to the digestive health, but also overall health and for the brain, and you can get symptoms of chronic fatigue and so on. And sometimes people get repeated chest infections or asthma from mould. So those are a few examples of toxins that just are an added burden, in particular to the liver. The kidneys and the skin and the lungs are all, and your bowel are all organs that eliminate toxins, so you want to be able to free them up as much as possible.
That's really good information, Michèle. How can we avoid toxic products in our home?
I think having more awareness and starting somewhere. So if you have food and you can't go straight away to all organic food, you could start with the Dirty Dozen. So you can look that up on the internet. So it's the 12 most highly sprayed fruits and vegetables, because pesticides can have a big effect on our digestive system and overall system. And start to look at more natural deodorants, toothpaste, products that you put on your skin, products that you eliminate insects with. There are totally natural ones. Cleaning products, you can start with more economical products like bicarb of soda and microfiber cloths. Many shops sell cleaning white vinegar, and they are very effective for cleaning. You can also use essential oils for nice smells instead of false perfumes, both if you're perfuming a room or if you're putting that on your body. So for example, rose essential oil is the essential oil that we would use as the most potent antidepressant, but it also is a really beautiful smell. So it's therapeutic as well. And avoiding as much as you can foods that are wrapped in plastic and drinks that are in plastic. You know, if you're lowering your load, you're lowering the impact that you're having on your liver and your overall digestion.
Do you have any extra advice for our viewers?
Yes. So those things that I mentioned, also if you want to look into it more deeply, there are various air filters available so that you can keep the air quality in your house really good. In particular, if you're living near a busy road, or if you've got furniture that's off-gassing, or you've recently painted your house, to be extra careful if you're planning to get pregnant, because it's been diagnosed in the cord blood of newborn babies, a huge amount of toxins that they've got when life has only just started. And to consult someone like myself or another naturopath to build that awareness so that you can keep taking steps to avoid those chemicals.
Thanks, Michèle. If you'd like to know more about how toxins in our environment affect our digestive system and Michèle Wolff, please go to her webpage on our website, healthwellbeingandlifestyle.com.au. And after the break, we have another interesting guest with another interesting topic.
Stay tuned. After the break, Lifestyle GP Dr. Avi Charlton will be talking about natural ways to control and reverse diabetes. Welcome back. Our second guest is Lifestyle GP Dr. Avi Charlton, and we will be talking about natural ways to control and reverse diabetes. Welcome back, Dr. Avi. It's so good to see you again.
Thanks for having me, Stephanie.
Could you tell us what is diabetes and what is the effects of diabetes on our body and mind?
For the purpose of this, we're just going to talk about type 2 diabetes. But to understand type 2 diabetes, there's a stage before we become type 2 diabetic. We call it insulin resistance. So there's a lot of people that are insulin resistant. Actually, a big population of people, up to 80% of the population, can be insulin resistant. These people can have signs that we can see that can show us that there's signs of insulin resistance, especially those people who have increased belly fat. They might have skin tags, or they might be tired, or going to toilet a lot to wee. They might have dark patches under the underarm. So these are the signs of insulin resistance. What happens is the body makes insulin, which is a hormone, to try and put the glucose away. So every time we eat glucose or carbohydrates which become glucose, the glucose, or we can also understand as sugar, actually goes into our bloodstream. Our body makes the insulin to put it away. If your body is managing with making more and more insulin, then you're not quite a diabetic yet. But if your body makes more and more insulin to put more and more glucose away, your body may not respond to all the insulin, and that is called insulin resistance. So what happens is if you work your insulin too hard, you get insulin resistant, and the next stage is you become a type 2 diabetic. Being a type 2 diabetic can have lots of consequences. It affects your whole body. There's too much glucose in your bloodstream, and it causes a lot of damages to everywhere in your body. Increases your risk of heart attacks, strokes, and even small arteries, like it can cause you to be blind. It can affect your kidneys and cause kidney damage, and even affect the small nerves and small blood vessels in your feet. Some diabetics have to have their toes or feet amputated and chopped off, and it's actually terrible to have diabetes.
So is there a natural way for people to control and reverse diabetes?
Yeah, absolutely. So we can understand diabetes as a lifestyle condition. There are genetic causes as well. What we can do is we can modify our nutrition and eat much less carbohydrates and glucose and sugar. And don't forget, there's lots of sugar that's hidden in our processed foods and in all the packaged foods. So what we do is we eat more real foods: meat, eggs, chicken, fish, pork, lamb, protein, and we eat lots more above ground veggies like broccoli, cauliflower, asparagus, tomato, mushrooms, all the good real food, and really staying away from starchy vegetables, potato, pasta, potatoes, sweet potatoes, and those vegetables. Concentrate on eating good nutrition, real foods, and we can also think about exercise. Going for walks is great, but lifting weights, building muscles, strength training, that will really help to improve our metabolic health and reduce diabetes. And also getting sunlight, getting outside into the sun, that can help to improve our metabolic health. And optimizing our sleep, making sure we sleep enough, and that will improve our metabolic health. We can bring down the glucose, regulate our circadian rhythm. Doing all these things can help you improve diabetes, reverse diabetes, and reduce insulin resistance. But we have to remember that if you are diabetic, especially those who are on medications, you need to speak to a professional who are equipped to talk about nutrition. So with regards to nutrition for diabetics, if we can reduce our carbohydrates as much as we can, reducing to a low-carb diet, less than 50 grams of carbs a day, or even a ketogenic diet with much less carbohydrates, less than 20 grams a day, that'll really help to control your diabetes or even reverse diabetes. Your body can heal and your body can improve naturally with improving our insulin resistance.
What advice do you have for both of our viewers, those who have diabetes already and those who want to prevent it?
Especially for those who have diabetes already, it's important to get professional guidance, especially those who are on diabetes medications or blood pressure tablets. They need to see a health professional who are equipped to talk about this. But everyone, especially those with diabetes or insulin resistance, pre-diabetes, the advice is if they can improve on their lifestyle, they can control the diabetes or even reverse diabetes. What I mean by improve their lifestyle is they can work on their diet, reducing the carbohydrates to as low as they can, reducing sugar, bread, potato, pasta, in eating more meat, eggs, chicken, fish, and above ground veggies. Then eating that way, they can improve their blood sugar level and control the diabetes or even reverse diabetes. They can also work on exercise. So going for walks is great, and building muscle strength training, lifting weights, that will help them improve their blood glucose level. They should optimize their sleep, making sure they sleep enough hours in the night. They can work on getting outside, exposing into sunlight, working with their circadian rhythm. Doing all that can improve their blood glucose level and control their diabetes or even prevent them from having diabetes. In that way, we can reduce your risk of chronic conditions that are associated with diabetes.
You've given us a lot to think about. Thank you so much, Dr. Avi.
Thank you, Stephanie.
If you would like to know more about natural ways to control and reverse diabetes and Dr. Avi Charlton, please visit her webpage on our website healthwellbeingandlifestyle.com.au. And after the break, we will be back with another interesting guest and another interesting topic.
Stay tuned. After the break, Sue Williams, Doctor of Quantum Counselling and Clinical Hypnotherapist, will be talking about what happens in your brain under hypnosis, unveiling the science. Welcome back. Our next guest, Sue Williams, is a Doctor of Quantum Counselling and a Clinical Hypnotherapist, and the topic we'll be discussing today is what happens in your brain under hypnosis. Welcome, Sue.
Thank you, Megan. It's lovely to be here again.
So, Sue, what does actually happen in your brain when you're under hypnosis?
So I should just explain our levels of consciousness first. So we are in our normal conscious awareness at the moment. We're using the frontal lobe in our brain to create our thoughts. And in this brainwave, which is beta, it allows us to plan, to think of things in the future, which is an unusual concept. I imagine it's specific to humans, but it's something that we create rather than something that is actually happening, but we're using our consciousness, our awareness. If we're doing a project, if we're doing anything that requires us to do calculations or be creative, that sort of thing. So that's our conscious awareness in the beta brainwave. If we get really excited, it can go up to high beta. And these are all brainwaves that can be monitored with electrical equipment, so we know exactly what that brainwave is at any particular time if we need to. So for hypnosis, we go down to a lower brainwave, a slower brainwave, which is alpha, and that normally is the precursor for going to sleep. So our mind quietens, it just slows down a bit, and then that allows the analytical conscious mind just to drift off and do its own thing for a while, and our subconscious mind then can come forward and we can deal with that in our hypnosis sessions. Further down than that, if we go into an unconscious state, then we're going down into even deeper, slower brainwaves. So that's when we're in a really deep sleep or for any other reason that we may be unconscious, but we're not aware. We are aware in hypnosis when we're in that alpha brainwave, and that is what makes the sessions so accessible for people to discuss things, because they can speak quite normally and hear what the hypnotherapist is saying. So they are still aware, but they're just not in this normal awareness that we have for most of the day. As humans, we're in and out of trance all day. People say, I can't be hypnotised. And I think, well, have you ever experienced reading a really good book, something where you get really engrossed? You're sitting there reading, your conscious mind is creating all the scenes from the words, and you're experiencing everything that's happening in that book. And you, oh, an hour's gone by and I haven't even realised it. So you, in essence, have been in trance. Or if you go a similar route from work to home each day, you leave work and you're planning whatever else you have to do. You have to go and buy groceries, or you have to take the kids to sport or whatever. And you get home and you think, how did I get here? And your subconscious mind has taken over because it knows how to drive. If it's a regular route that you go through, it knows which intersections you have to be careful at. And you are being perfectly safe because that's subconscious mind's job, to keep you safe. So it's something that we do regularly, all day, every day, in and out of trance, just for a few seconds perhaps, or for longer, depending on what we're doing.
Is there any scientific evidence to back it up?
Oh, absolutely. If we go back to the 18th century, so the 1700s, Franz Mesmer people will know the term being mesmerised, being really engrossed in something. He was probably one of the fathers of more modern hypnosis. It changed from just trance to being hypnosis. And through the 19th century, there were further developments, but it really got going in the 20th century with a lot of scientific research, how the mind works specifically during hypnosis. I know in a lot of movies they show that you can have your mind taken over by the hypnotist, and that person can make you do all sorts of things that you would not normally do. Well, in real life, it's almost impossible for the hypnotherapist to take over your brain, because your morals, your thought patterns, the way you live your life is so strong within you. So don't be scared about what you see in the movies, because it's not possible in normal hypnotherapy sessions.
What can you offer our audience that would like to go on this journey themselves?
I've said many times, I wish people would come to the hypnotherapist as their first port of call, not as that last desperate effort to find help. And because it's becoming to be more widespread, hypnotherapists are tending to specialise. In the past, you would go to a hypnotherapist for just everything, like you would go to a GP. But now you can actually go straight to that specialist hypnotherapist. So if you have a lot of stress, if you have anxiety, depression, that type of thing, we have so many really good qualified hypnotherapists who can help you specifically with that. My practice is helping athletes and sporting teams, and by doing that I can help them with their mental focus, get them to train their own brains so that when they're on the starting line or out with the team waiting for the whistle to blow, they go into the zone. So we can train them to do that. We can train them to use their mind to overcome injuries so that they can get back on the field so much quicker. Very common ones obviously are ceasing smoking and shedding weight. So there are a lot of specialist practitioners who can help you with that as well. And I really have not heard of anyone who's not a genuine, caring, helping person.
Thanks so much, Sue. If you'd like to know more about Sue Williams and what happens to your brain when it's under hypnosis, please go to her webpage on our website, healthwellbeingandlifestyle.com.au. And we'll say goodbye for now and see you next week. If you'd like to know more about our show, please like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram and subscribe to our YouTube channel.